Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Bitcoin Liz and it's great to be back with you. I missed you a lot and we are in really great times when it comes to crypto and we are going towards the end of the year, and what way wouldn't be better to summarize the year in a video. And I have a very special guest with me today, namely Layah Heilpern. And Layah, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm good. Your accent when you say my name is so funny.
Yeah, I actually didn't ask you, like, how do you say it properly? Can you please?
Yeah, of course. Well, firstly, your English is insane. So let's just get that off the back first. But yeah, no, it's Layah Heilpern. Okay. It's quite a mouthful.
Layah Heilpern. Okay, thank you for
that. It's a mouthful, I know.
But amazing to have you here. How are you doing in the times like these right now?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm kind of just staying positive as much as you can because I'm in the UK right now and everything is locked down. We have no gyms. If you follow me, guys, you'll know I'm a freaking gym addict. Love my weights. And yeah, so no Christmas plans, no New Year plans, absolutely nothing. So I'm just staring at the charts, really. That's all you can do during a pandemic.
Yes, I assume many people are in the same situation as you are and me are. But one positive thing, of course, is how crypto is evolving. I believe you agree with that. But before we get into the content, I really want everyone to go and follow Layah on Twitter and YouTube. I will link her profiles here in the description because I mean, the way she is pushing content is just amazing. And yeah, I found you in 2020, so that's a big thing for me at least. And I really love the things you're doing for the crypto community, and I think it creates a lot of value. So guys, go follow her, definitely.
Oh, I appreciate that. It's hard one to grow, isn't it? It's quite tricky, so I appreciate that.
Just looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum, I think the Bitcoin price in the beginning of the year, we were around 7K US dollars, and now we are like 27K. So just looking at that, it's been amazing. And for Ethereum, we started off around $120, and now we are around 730. So definitely just looking at that, it's been a great year. But if we are going to look back, and what are the highlights, like what are the top 3 things you remember from 2020 that you think have really impacted the crypto markets?
Yeah, I think it's been an insane year. You know, given we're in a global pandemic, it's been incredible. I don't know what I would have done during the end of 2020 if it wasn't for Bitcoin's price action to give me a little bit of excitement in life. You know, it's up $20,000 since the beginning of the year. If I had to pick 3 main things, I would like to start off. I'm going to do 3.5 because this one doesn't fully count. So I want to start off by the initial news of like a global lockdown back in March when it just dropped to 4K. I thought that was insane because you know how everybody talks about it being this non-correlated asset, right? But it was kind of the bounce back which really got me. You know, oil, was it the oil's futures market? I can't remember. That was sort of negative. People were paying people to take oil off their hands. And, you know, we see something like Bitcoin, which is only at the time, what, like 10, 11 years old, just absolutely shock everybody. And I guess it really sort of came into its own as that, I don't want to say necessarily, yes, I guess safe haven asset, that store of value. And, you know, forget it breaking all-time highs. It's kind of just the way it sort of was that hedge against everything else that was going on. I thought that was incredible. I guess in terms of like the 3 main things, like, I mean, the main thing is the halving that we had back in May. It's very interesting to see because a lot of people were sort of saying the halving's priced in, and I guess we can most definitely say it was not priced in. I don't even think it's priced in now. I think, you know, that's something that right now we're going through a crazy bull run. I think the halving will be something which we'll start to see slowly come into effect. I don't think it's going to be a sort of a run that we've seen at all. I don't think this is the halving. The second, and I think maybe it could be one of the most important things, is the pandemic, right? Because we've seen trillions of dollars being pumped into the economy, global economy, you know, devaluing the currency in your pocket. That has to be the most important thing. And I think the reason for that is really because it gives you your example to show people, doesn't it? So, you know, people say, why Bitcoin? And you can say, well, look what happened. And I know we're not seeing hyperinflation like we see in, let's say, Venezuela, for example, but it really is a fantastic kind of example to show people and say, well, look, this happened, this is terrible, and this is why we need Bitcoin. I think that has to be the best one there. And then equally, again, they're all pretty insane. And then just like the amount of institutional money that has just flown into Bitcoin, like, you know, the day PayPal announced that they were going to onboard Bitcoin and sort of allow their customers access to it, I think it went from what, like 11K to 12, and then they announced something else, and it went from like 12K to like 12.4, which at the time was a huge jump. You know, MicroStrategy, everything. I think the thing that we have to remember is like these huge people like Michael Saylor and so on. You know, these people aren't getting into Bitcoin because they think that it's gonna, because they can make a few gains. You know, a couple of thousand quid. Absolutely not. Quid is British, sorry, dollars. You know, they're not doing that. They are putting millions in because they believe it's going to potentially 6, 7, 8 figures. I don't know, but that's for me. And I think that kind of like really consolidates people's belief in the asset, doesn't it? Because, you know, forget retail investors once the institutions are in, I think it's something.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you with everything you have mentioned, and especially if we continue on the institutional part, that it really has put us on the map for like everyone. I mean, I have people who had no clue about crypto before coming up to me like, okay, so this is actually a real thing, like, you know, and asking. So it's really, really shown to the world that we are a serious industry and we're not some kind of, dark web thing, money that's not real. So yeah, I agree with you that has had a huge impact on the crypto markets.
And I think what's really interesting as well is like they're putting it into Bitcoin, right? Which really gets me, because I know, like, I wouldn't call myself a Bitcoin maximalist at all. Like, I am mainly bullish on Bitcoin. I'm also really interested in Ethereum. I think it's pretty cool what they're doing, programmable money and all that stuff. I think it's really interesting given we're going down a new digital world, right? But they're not putting the money in Ethereum. They're not putting it in XRP. You know, they're putting it in Bitcoin. And that's huge. That is really huge. And I think that kind of that has to be said, and that has to be kind of like echoed and brought up, I think, particularly when we're trying to convince people that, you know, this isn't a criminal industry anymore. This isn't the dark web. Because people within our industry keep thinking, oh no, everybody knows that Bitcoin is not a bad thing. But oh my God, like, I got to tell you, I'm putting content on TikTok. The amount of abuse I get for talking about Bitcoin. They're like, you know, you're pushing a Ponzi scheme, you're pushing a scam, you should be ashamed of yourself. It's insane.
Yeah, that is, I mean, I honestly believe that is only because people are not educated enough, because they don't know about it. It's just easier to say it's a scam than to admit that I haven't put down that much time to actually look what it is, because I have seen people like switch their gears and actually read more about it, and then they turn their minds. But I think probably, the people who say like that, they just don't get it, and they just don't put in the time to actually educate themselves and get to know what is all behind there.
I have a theory. I'll just quickly say I have a theory on that. So those that kind of like, okay, how do I explain this? So I kind of tweeted about this the other day, but I don't know if I don't know if I can even verbalize it that well, but let's see. So those that call Bitcoin a scam and call it a Ponzi scheme and all that, they are merely lazy people. Because how can you say that? Like, absolutely, how can you say that? You can say, you know, I'm unsure about it, and it's not for me. I think Jamie Dimon changed his thing to, it's not so much fraud, but it's just not my cup of tea. And that's fine, and I get that. But saying that like it's a scam and it's this and that, those people are lazy. They would rather it be rubbish than actually put in the time and the effort to learn more about it. Because those are the smart people, and those are the successful people in life. People that look at something and just call it a scam immediately, they never win. They always fail. So
yeah. I agree. I love that comparison, or that way of describing the issue, because I agree with that. And I think the smart people who don't know about Bitcoin yet, they would never say that. They would never say like it's a scam. They would say like, I don't know enough. I can't speak about it, something like that. But yeah, but looking back at 2020, another thing, or you already mentioned a little bit, but I think a big happening for 2020, of course, was the growth of DeFi and the innovation within it. I agree that Bitcoin is the one that everyone has their eyes on, like when looking at globally. But the innovation in DeFi is definitely something that I want to point out, especially because they're challenging traditional financial services, which is crazy. And I think it's just a start. Now everything this has grown, but I think some of it has to become mainstream. And yeah, that is definitely something that I remember from 2020 as well. And the summer, the DeFi summer, so to say, which was a bit crazy as well. It was almost a bubble, because all of a sudden there were like new projects every day, and not everyone was, of course, good projects. But I think a lot of good came out of it, and I think we got smarter, we matured a bit after that as well. So that is one wisdom I would say, that from 2020 you kind of have to that we became smarter, and we need to the fact that we need to do our own research and see what projects are good and all that. Is there other wisdom you take away from 2020? Something that you learned?
Wisdom of 2020. I mean, I'm definitely going to like echo what you just said in terms of like DeFi being a thing this year. I think wisdom is something that I learned in the last couple of days. I understand that anonymity is a great thing in this community. I'm all for privacy and everything like that. My only issue here, and it's what I've seen, is anonymous DeFi projects. I don't think there should ever be a law against that. Absolutely not. You know, I'm a libertarian, I'm all for free market and so on. But when people say do your own research, do your own research. Like, seriously, if there is an anonymous person creating a new DeFi project, you have to do your own research and stop trying to get quick gains. Like, do not invest more than you can afford to lose. These people who are anonymous cannot be held accountable for their actions. So yes, they will do those rug pulls. You know, I was working with somebody, about to work with somebody even, until I had some shady news about them recently. It really doesn't matter who, because nothing's going ahead anyway, but I had some shady news about them, and I was just like, damn, you know, like, damn, like, these people are so shady. I have nothing against anonymity. I just think when we're on the other end of it, we have to take a conscious decision as to how involved, how financially or emotionally invested are we going to get. In terms of, you know, because these people can't be held accountable. In terms of wisdom in general, are we talking like crypto, or just like wisdom of 2020?
I think you can say wisdom in general. It doesn't have to be specifically connected to crypto.
Okay, I would say, and this is something that I'm like trying to like tell myself right now, because life is super difficult in lockdown, given it's the second or third lockdown. But I would say that like things always get better. So just keep that in mind as we struggle our way, as we drag our way into 2021, and we don't know what happens next year with all these new strains or whatever. You know, things always get better. So just try and keep a positive outlook. So yeah, and also my biggest one always is never invest more than you can afford to lose. There's too many people throwing money at things, getting rug pulled. I mean, do your own research is just such an underrated statement, honestly. I know it sounds like a fun little like thing that people say, but just do it. I would also say as well, be careful who you follow on Twitter. There's a lot of people, so this really actually upset me. So everything that's been going on with XRP right now, I'm disappointed to see people with huge followings telling people to buy XRP. It bothers me, because look, like, when you have a following, you have a responsibility. That's just, I guess, the way it is. People will listen to you for whatever reason. And I think, you know, promoting something which is currently facing legal action, something which has such an uncertain future, is irresponsible. You know, yes, it could be a great time to buy XRP given it's down, and once it gets some potential clarity, you know, however soon that might be, it could go up, and then everybody who bought it now could become very rich. That's all very exciting. So each to their own, but it's facing legal issues. So this means that it's in a very uncertain time, and it's dangerous. So don't tell people to buy XRP. So just be careful who you follow. Make sure you follow people with integrity. Listen to people with integrity, because there's a lot of frauds out there, and I've been seeing it a lot, and I think it's a shame.
Yeah, I agree with you, and that kind of has to do maybe with the I don't know, people call it tribalism in crypto, that you kind of follow a specific project, and it's a part of who you are, and you would do anything to make sure to shill it. And yeah, I agree, it's completely irresponsible. And also, then I guess you can say, do your own research on who you follow on Twitter and social media as well. But also, thinking about wisdom, what I've realized is it kind of relates back to everything that you have mentioned as well, that people are acting a lot on emotion when they buy things, when they invest things, and when they choose the projects to get into. So that is a wisdom I guess you should take away from 2020, to kind of have a strategy and follow it. Because if you don't have a strategy, it can be anything. It can be as simple as, you know, DCAing, dollar cost averaging all the time, and just follow that strategy. Or it can be more specific. You follow a TA indicator or on-chain analysis, whatever it can be. But set up a strategy and follow it. Because if you don't do that, you're going to start to act on emotions, and that's when things usually get wrong. So yeah, but I guess this all relates back to what you mentioned as well, that's not doing your research. You kind of believe like, okay, I saw this guy, he got into that, he made lots of money, I'm going to do it as well. They kind of take, you know, shortcuts, and that's when things get wrong.
Yeah, and you know, like it's okay to see a DeFi project with an anonymous creator and like the fundamentals and think, cool, I'm going to throw, let's say, $1,000 at this. That's fine. Number one, make sure you can afford $1,000. Number two, make sure that you're okay to lose $1,000. Like, it's okay to sort of like gamble or whatever. Like, each to their own. Do what you want as long as you can afford to do it. But understand, I think the wisdom here is that the only thing that's truly proven at this point is Bitcoin. So be very careful. Understand that these are new projects. They haven't proven themselves. Ethereum, I think, is a great one. I don't know whether it's sort of proven itself so much like Bitcoin has, but it has proven itself. So just be careful with these like new small little projects. I mean, go for it, but know that you're going for it for fun, not for a serious long-term investment.
So out of curiosity, what are the coins that you have made the biggest gains in 2020?
Damn. Well, Bitcoin 110%. I'm super pleased. This year was the year I owned the most that I've owned, because I started getting paid in Bitcoin. So I started, and then I didn't really change much of it. So I was lucky enough for that to be the case. Ethereum as well. I'm not heavily invested in other alts at all, and I'm very honest about this. The alts that I have some Link. I haven't made really any significant gains on Link, but I have it. You know, I think Link is going to be interesting. We'll see how, you know, if DeFi really takes off. Link is really the industry standard right now. I have some ADA. I have some One. Don't ask why. Harmony, yeah. Don't ask why. I heard that there was going to be some interesting news coming out in like July, so I like bought earlier, but the price hasn't moved. What I have, so I have ADA, Link, One. I have some ICX, but still not a lot. I just have little ones. You know, if they really do run, then I could make some gains. But overall, Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Bitcoin and Ethereum have been the ones that have made me the biggest gains too in 2020. It's just because I believe in the fundamentals of both, and well, just looking at where we started in the beginning of the year and versus where we are now, it's clearly a good choice, and I think it will repeat next year as well. So speaking about next year, 2021, what do you think 2021 will bring to crypto and blockchain in general? How do you think the year will look like?
Yeah, I mean, look, like, we don't know what the new craze is going to be right now. It sort of seems like it could be NFTs, but I don't know if NFTs have sort of just like had their like small little hype. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I don't know whether that's just like a social media thing. I'm not really sure, but NFTs, I think, still have a lot of potential in 2021. I think DeFi will continue to grow because it's not so much that it was a craze. The building is still going in a very different way to, I think, the way ICOs were. They're actually building something. You know, ICOs, there's nothing really behind it. It's just sort of like, everybody go buy. You know, with DeFi, they're actually building stuff. So I think that could potentially, not necessarily come into its own because it's still too early, but I think it's going to be interesting to see. I think we will see more people getting into crypto, getting into Bitcoin 100%. I don't know, we don't know what the next big thing is going to be. We're never going to know. Otherwise I'd buy so much of it right now, like if I had known, Uniswap and all this stuff, if you had known, then you'd buy, but we just don't. I just think that the space will continue to grow. I think it's going to be positive, whatever happens. Like I said, more people getting in. I think JP Morgan recently just bought some Bitcoin and now they're pumping it. I think we'll see more of that. I think CBDCs are going to be big in 2021, which I sort of don't like. It's sort of the government's way of putting their foot down, and sort of being like, yeah, we can do it too, and then we'll squash you. So CBDCs are going to be huge. I'm concerned as to what's going on with Tether. There's a lot of FUD right now, so I think we're going to see what happens with Tether in 2021. But yeah, I think CBDCs actually. I'm gonna land on CBDCs for 2021.
Yeah, interesting. I haven't thought about that so much, but now when I think about it, I definitely agree that will be the way governments are currently like, okay, we're doing this, but yeah, in practice it will be just a centralized digital currency, which will not kind of have the same purpose as cryptocurrencies have, or Bitcoin at least. So yeah, that can actually be a thing. I agree with you. But in general, as you mentioned as well, we don't know what the next thing will be. NFTs came out of nowhere for me, and it like super hyped. And there might be something.
You must love it though, because you got your paintings. I love that you paint.
Yes,
it's so random.
That was like so much fun to have it that way, and I think it's a cool way. It can definitely grow if you. I am more the one that I think it can grow when you have actual collectibles that you can use somehow, for example, for games or art or whatever else.
Well, I think just like ornaments, like, look, I think if we understand that like the entire world is going digital, I've said this time and time again, right? Like the way we socialize is digital, the way we work is digital, the way that we date is digital, the way that we eat is digital, particularly this year has pushed us down that path anyway, then everything is going digital whether we like it or not, right? Like, let's say 20 years ago, grandma wasn't on Facebook. 20 years later, grandma's on Facebook. Now, what that proves to us is that user experience matters, but it will catch up, right? So it will eventually catch up, which means, even like designer handbags and stuff like that, I really believe will be put on the blockchain to be verified. Like I have a Louis Vuitton handbag. I love it. But I'm really aware when I look around at other women's Louis Vuitton handbags and I'm like, that one's fake. I know that one's fake. But like, that's just because I'm obsessed. But other people don't know that. And I absolutely feel strongly about the fact that whether it's an NFT or not, perhaps it could be a different type of NFT, like, things are still early, but that core idea of using technology to verify something will take off. And right now we know that as NFTs, but in the future it could be NFT or it could be another version of an NFT. I don't know, but yeah, that will take off 100%.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Definitely with the designer bags, because that is a huge issue that there is in the retail markets to be able to verify. Now the copies are like so almost like real ones, so it's difficult to know, and the industry is huge. So I definitely agree on that. But another thing that when I'm thinking about 2021, at least what I'm hoping for is an ETF for Bitcoin. I'm really hoping for that, but because I think the SEC will have a more difficult time to disapprove it. Of course, now with everything going on, it might still be disapproved, but I think we're closer than ever, and I'm really hoping for that, at least in 2021. And I know that there are some research done that people are thinking that it will happen in 2021. But of course, it may also take another switch. We don't know. But in general as well, I believe more in adoption. I think more and more people will enter the space, especially because I mean, more and more young people have now actually the possibility to invest money. And I think for them, like entering crypto will be so natural because we don't know anything else. We know that we want to have it digital, and now I mean, societies are getting cashless because of, well, the pandemic as well. We need to become cashless and more digitalized. So I think it will be more like natural for us to ever than to enter crypto, and I truly believe that we will see that, because as I mentioned in the beginning, more and more people are asking about it who were really skeptical towards crypto before. Yeah,
I agree with you. I think, you know, it's kind of the obvious investment option for young people now, because we, you know, when I was younger, I understood that like gold was this thing, right? And that's all I knew. I knew it was like a thing. But like, I don't know how to buy gold. I don't know how to access gold. I don't know, you know, I don't know. I know now, but when I was younger, I didn't. But, you know, something like Bitcoin is so easy and obvious, you know, even whether it's Bitcoin or not. Like, I know there's so much rubbish coming out of like TikTok or whatever, where all Gen Z are, you know, that whole funny thing with Rapple. I don't know if you saw, Ripple and Rapple. So ridiculous. But, you know, I wonder how Apple are feeling actually, given everything that's gone on, whatever. So yeah, it's just such an obvious kind of option, and there's so much information out there. Unlike when I was younger, you know, you can go on YouTube and type in how to buy Bitcoin, done, you're sorted in seconds. So it's really, it just fits in with the modern person. I mean, like Satoshi Nakamoto did this thing like 12 years ago, but like, damn, he was so ahead of his time, her time, their time, whatever. Just to know, you know, that people will be, yeah, like I say, it just fits in so perfectly. It's like, it makes sense to me. It's the only thing that people are going to be investing in, crypto in general. I don't know if they're going to pick Bitcoin, but crypto, digital assets, I mean, of course, people are going to be investing in them.
2021 will be a major year for crypto, I believe. And speaking of new people entering the space, what advice would you give to new people entering the space? For
oh, damn. All right, well, you're not going to believe this, but do your own research. Like, you know, I would just say, I kind of touched on this earlier, just be careful, know what you're doing, ask somebody in the space. Don't just buy something because it's cheap. It doesn't mean that it's going to go anywhere. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose. Understand like the fundamentals of projects, understand why you're doing what you're doing, and ask people that are already in the space. Ask many people, get many different opinions, and kind of go from there. I'm always sort of bullish on Bitcoin, so I would sort of say, you know, Bitcoin first. For me, I think the fundamentals are just solid. Like, I don't care whether it's fast. I don't care whether it has high, low transaction fees. I don't care. Yeah, I do transact in Bitcoin at times, and it would be great if we could see Bitcoin as this global payments solution. But that's, for me personally, that's not a priority. I just think, you know, in terms of like that store of value, opting out of the system, having money which is independent and separate from government is the most important thing. So I guess that would be my, you know, my main thing, you know, understand why you're doing what you're doing. And also know, this is quite an interesting one, fundamentals of a project doesn't always represent the price of the coin or the token. I'm really interested in fundamentals. I really like to watch the fundamentals of projects. And yes, I do buy based off of that. But I buy knowing that fundamentals aren't the only thing. So just because, you know, you like the project doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be reflected in the price of the coin or the token.
And we have seen many good projects that have great fundamentals, but they don't have the fundamentals there, and therefore, you know, you're not going to make any profit on them. I have seen a lot of projects like that, and it's important to look into that as well.
Oh, here's another one as well, by the way. Here's another one, which I think is really important to say. Don't fall for scams. It sounds obvious, but it's not. You know, if an opportunity seems too good to be true, move forward knowing it probably is, and then, you know, find out whether it is or it isn't. But that's serious. You know, check people's handles when they reach out to you. There's a lot of fake accounts right now. You, Liz, you have plenty of fake accounts. I've had loads of fake accounts. People just pretending to be you, messaging people, hi, I have an opportunity. No. No, there's no opportunity. There's no free Bitcoin. There's no quick gains. Well, there are, but it's not like, give me money and I will, double it. No. Like, that's not happening. So just be careful who's reaching out to you. And yeah, just be careful about who's reaching out to you. And if an opportunity seems too good to be true, it probably is. Nobody, no legitimate company will ask for any personal details. Don't give anyone your private key. Nobody, don't give anyone your seed phrase. Nobody's going to ask for these kind of details. And be careful about taxes. That's really important.
Yeah.
Be careful.
That's good advice, and especially with the scams. For us, it's probably like, we already know that there's many scams, but yeah, for newbies, it's important to know as well that there are a lot of scams, but there are also a lot of good projects. But again, also I think why people are getting into and fall for these scams are because we are greedy and we are believing like, okay, yeah, this sounds like a good opportunity, but yeah, there are no free lunches in real life, and yeah, you have to keep that in mind. And right back to it, I think it's important to have a strategy. Whatever it is, it might be a simple one, but make sure to have a plan and not just act on emotions and like.
Know if you're a trader or if you're an investor. That is so important.
And also, I think just following good influencers, as we spoke of before, on YouTube, there's a lot of good content and good knowledge for free. So yeah, stay updated with following there, but also make sure to follow the right people and make research about that. So one of the most, I guess, interesting questions that I have for today, or what everyone are thinking about, of course, in 2021, which I believe Bitcoin will, of course, lead a lot. It will be the main cryptocurrency in 2021, but the price. So we saw our huge price gain now in 2020. What do you think? What will happen in 2020 with the price of Bitcoin? Where will we be by the end of the year next year?
Okay, so we have two options, I think. Okay, our two options are, I've been really thinking about this, and I've been speaking to my brother a lot about this because he's like trying to get in. I'm like, okay, we have two options here. The first option is that Bitcoin just runs, okay? And it goes. We're in price discovery mode. There's not a lot of resistance. I know we're seeing some resistance at 28K, but I'd hardly call that resistance as of right now. And it just runs and it goes, and it could reach highs of $100,000 as of the end of 2021, right? If we think if it continues at the pace that it's going, then it will mathematically reach those kind of numbers in 2021. Then once it does that, we are in for a sharp pullback. So everybody needs to just be very, very careful. You either take profit if you're in it for the gains, or just be ready. Be ready for a very sharp pullback. And I'm talking a pullback to like below 20K. I don't think we'd ever see anything around 3K. I think there's a lot of support between 10 and 20. So I'm talking like something around 17, 18, 19. It depends how much support there is going up. It depends how fast we go up. I'm saying if we go all the way to 100K by 2021, then that's the kind of pullback that I think we'll see. Alternatively, we continue at this pace that we're going right now. We pull back to, let's say, around like 20, and we stay there for the next few months. Now, that would be incredibly positive, just because it creates more support. We don't see those awful sharp pullbacks. If I'm honest on what my opinion is, I think we'll see 50K next year. Don't quote me. That is not financial advice. That is just me giving a fun prediction. I think we'll see 50K next year. I think if we look at the average year on year, it just gets better and better. We are in a bull cycle. So know that we will see sharp pullbacks. But again, that really depends on how fast we run. So we'll have to see how quickly we run. But I'm thinking nothing like we saw in 2018. No 3Ks in my opinion. I think between 10 and 20, because there's so much support there.
Yeah, very interesting. I think it's a difficult prediction to make as well. But I'm not, I don't think it's impossible that we will reach 100K. Specifically looking at stock to flow model, we have followed it quite well, even above it. So according to that, 100K will be. But I think, yeah, somewhere between 50 and 100K, I would believe. But I wouldn't be surprised by a major like drop either, of course, because Bitcoin is still volatile when it comes to price. But I'm hoping for 100K. And I think just looking at, if we compare to gold, for example, if we would reach 100K, and with the price of gold today, the market cap would be around 20% of the gold market cap. The Bitcoin market cap would be 20% of the gold market cap, which is not a lot. So 100K, it's not like crazy. We can be there, especially looking at that we quadrupled the price this year. If we quadruple next year as well, we will be there. So I'm quite optimistic when it comes to 100K, but as well, I'm aware that Bitcoin is still very volatile, and we might see during that time a lot of price drops.
Yeah, I think that, you know, although things are different, I think sort of like Markle's cycles, that's a mixture of market and cycles. I think they're repetitive, right? I think we tend to see similar things. So, you know, seeing Bitcoin literally go from, like, I don't know, let's say like $800 to 20K is a pretty wild jump, just as it would be from 20 to 100K. It's a wild jump, but it's doable. And what I think will happen is, if, let's just say we do, this is it, we go up to 100K and we reach that by the end of 2021, let's just say, I definitely think we will see that sharp pullback to around 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, I'm not sure, but around that mark. And then it could take another 3 years to actually find support at 100K. So really, at the end of the day, especially for newbies, it really depends, like we were saying, like, what is your strategy? Like, do you want to take gains at 100K? Would that be life-changing for you? Then you do that. Understand it will pull back far. And then in my opinion, it will get back up there, just like we've seen. I think we will see some kind of repetition here.
Is there anything else you would like to add when it comes to price prediction? Are you, in general, it feels like you are very optimistic about 2021 as well, or am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean, is there anything else to add? I mean, look, I'm always optimistic. I definitely think at some point we will reach 100K. I just don't know when. I don't think we're going to see a kind of like gloomy, sad 2021 in the slightest. I think it's going to be pretty healthy, pretty exciting. But guys, do your own research, please. You know, don't take investment advice from people online. It's not healthy. It's not safe. So just be careful out there. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose.
Yes, wise last words from Layah. I agree, guys. Do your own research, follow good content on YouTube, educate yourself, and don't be afraid to be open-minded to new projects. But in general, we believe in Bitcoin, in Ethereum, I would say. And thank you guys for watching. And don't forget to go and subscribe and follow Layah on YouTube and Twitter. And also comment below what your price prediction is for 2021, and where did you make the biggest profits in 2020? What projects did you make the biggest gains on? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you guys very soon. Goodbye.